saying, I'm going to be part of securing our democracy. I'm not going to accept a king. And I can't help but feel a little bit more optimistic about tomorrow when I see millions upon millions of people deciding to fight for their country, to fight for their democratic institutions, and to show up in defense of their constitutional rights. That should make us feel good, and it should give us something to build on. So I'm going to sleep a little bit better tonight than I did last night based on what I saw today.
No question about that. Tell me, I know you were in Philadelphia today, which we showed pictures of it, incredibly inspiring, huge crowds. We talked with Jamie Raskin earlier, who was there. What was the scene like in Philadelphia today? Tell us more about it.
I think the scene was what a lot of people saw in the 2,169 No Kings protests that occurred all around the world. People were boisterous, people were happy, people were laughing, people were dancing, people were chanting, people were waving the American flag and talking about what it meant to them. People were talking about why it was important for them to show up for their democracy. Some of these folks have been doing this for a long time. For some of these folks, they've been going to protests all year or for years. For many, it was the first time they'd ever showed up before. They were brand new to this, but they were looking around at what was happening in this country, and they decided to take it upon themselves to take that step forward, take on some risk, and show some courage. So we see courage spreading right now. We know courage is contagious, and you have that feel. There's this. If you've ever been to a big church event or to a big concert, there's this concept called collective effervescence. This feeling that as a collective we are experiencing something together that we can't experience on our own. That's what Philly felt like, and that's what I think 2,169 communities felt like today.
We talked about this a little bit last night. I think it's such an important part of the conversation about what happens now, because there are so many people who participated today, I have no doubt, who have never been to a protest before, didn't think protests were for them, maybe arrived and saw kids in strollers and people who are 96 and thought maybe this is for me. What do they do tomorrow? What do they do next week?
Gosh, that's such the key question, Jen, because don't get me wrong. We won the narrative today. We had Donald Trump with this pathetic little birthday parade in D.C. that didn't look like hardly anybody attended. And then we had millions upon millions of Americans showing up in defense of their democracy, sending a very clear message. But one day of protest does not win our democracy back. One day of protest, regardless of how incredible, inspiring, and powerful it is, that doesn't defeat Donald Trump's attempt to undermine our democratic institutions. The real measure of success of No Kings Day is not just the narrative that we set today, it's in how good a job we do at funneling all of those millions of new people into productive, effective local organizing. So we're going to be talking to people Monday night at 8 p.m. about what comes next, how we can take this forward, because one day of protest isn't enough, but persistent, peaceful, broad-based, geographically dispersed people protest, that's what works. We just need to build it.
Mr. Levin, I know everybody can go to your website, I think, and figure out and find the information about Monday at 8 p.m. Is that right? Where they can find it? If they're just inspired and motivated? Yeah.
You can go to nokings.org and check it out. Go to indivisible.org to find your local Indivisible group. We're going to keep on building. We're not going anywhere.
I know you're not, and you've been at it for years now. You've been consistent, which is what people need to be doing when they're trying to protect our democracy.